we're paying these people, the government, to take care of us, and they're turning around and using this stuff to hurt us, you know. And so what's your view on it, Candice?
When you say blanky, do you mean because I haven't bought into the whole dimensional thing yet, and I think it could just be mind
Yes,
control?
mind control. Yes,
Yeah,
that's your blankie.
because it's, if everything around you changes, it might seem like you've entered another dimension.
Yeah.
Like if other people are all of a sudden mind controlled, say it's global, it would seem like you entered another dimension.
True. I mean, how could you tell? You know?
If they rewrote history in everyone's mind, like in a wave,
Yeah.
how would you know? How can you tell the difference between whether you've traveled to another dimension or it's mind control and it seems like it?
That's true too. You know, I that's one of those things that you know, I'm thinking, well, you know, it could be. It could be. It's still on the table, you know, it hasn't been taken off the table yet.
Yeah, I told you, everything's on the table. I've got my side table, but everything's on the table.
Everything's on the side table too. You're about to put another leaf in it, aren't you? I can tell. With the magnets.
Yeah, I do think that I could be onto something there with the magnetic mind control, because if you think about it, those patents for the mind control, it was electromagnetic.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But then
right?
again, yeah, but you could also tell if that's true or not simply by creating a Faraday cage around yourself.
Well, they say, that's what I was reading. They say, because I'll just say it again because we're live now. I was thinking that it could be mercury, amalgam fillings, or mercury in our bodies that could be protecting us from electromagnetic mind control.
True.
And the fact that the Rh negative people, they've had the ROGAM shot that has mercury. There's you know, your normal vaccines that have mercury, but it's a matter of, maybe it depends how much mercury you have as to how resistant you are.
Well, maybe
so that might help you retain. That's why you might retain your memory.
Yeah.
While other people who don't have as much mercury are forgetting. And it also makes sense. I remember reading some things online where people are saying, well, autistic people's brains might be wired differently, and that's why a lot of them might have me, like might be Mandela affected people.
Yeah.
So this also ties into the whole mercury theory, because the CDC, there's the whole big cover up about you know, mercury, the thimerosal, causing autism. So it might not be that their brains are wired differently, but because they've had that mercury exposure.
But why would they give people mercury if they knew that the mercury would stop the mind control? That's the question. I mean, if they knew this ahead of time, wouldn't they avoid giving you mercury? You know, I don't know.
It is a good question, and I hope that by me even saying this stuff on air, I'm not giving them some way to perfect what they're doing.
Yeah, right.
Right? Maybe they haven't thought of this.
Yeah, I kind of hinted to Brian that perhaps he should, you know, keep methods and stuff off the table here.
So what I was saying is that mercury is a diamagnet.
He says he can't
repels magnetism. Yeah.
Can you hear Brian? Yeah, he can hear us. He just can't talk right now.
Okay. So if you wanted to test it, you know, because they're saying graphene and bismuth are strong diamagnets, you'd go get, instead of a tinfoil hat, you'd get a bismuth hat or cap or a graphene one, and then you would see if you were wearing that. If that helps with the magnetic mind control, and you realize something.
You put it on and you put it on and everything looks different.
So other people who, you know, don't retain their memories, if they go put on this graphene or bismuth hat, maybe they become me people.
Yeah, maybe so. So we
start selling. Interesting test.
So we start selling those hats, right?
Graphene hats, yeah.
Make a killing.
So we need to do a poll to find out how many people, you know, in the me community have had mercury exposure, or they believe they may have.
Yeah.
Mercury fillings.
True. Well, they can contact you. They can contact you online. Where else? Where else could they contact you? How else could they get a hold of you?
I don't know, Google Hangouts if they're able to. They probably see my name
Yeah.
here, or
Yeah.
or in the Facebook groups. I mean, we've got our own little
Yeah, we're all
secret groups, and we have to figure out who we invite into those.
yeah, right? You know, what do you think,
Well,
Cosmo?
I think it's the opposite actually. I think people that have mercury exposure are the ones that can receive messages and whatnot, because I actually work with the autistic community. That's my job, and it's, to me, like, if you just sit and watch them, like, they can be,
Yeah.
you know, engaged in something, and then all of a sudden they'll like turn their head up like they're listening to something,
Huh.
or they'll get angry or and have a behavior. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Huh.
Like, you can see that they hear something. Something is talking to them. And all of them do this.
Wow.
All of them.
Really?
Yeah. So I believe it's the opposite, actually.
Huh. Well, there's our poll. How many people believe
I mean,
it's one way, and how many people believe it's opposite?
Yeah. It's interesting. Like, because I'm around these people all day, every day, and sometimes they can be really normal and smart,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden they just zone out. Like,
Huh.
oh, you just cut out a little.
Yeah.
I've kind of heard the opposite of that, though.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I understand what he's saying, that they may seem different, but that could be the damage from the mercury.
It could be, or it could be that they're being, you know, affected directly by some sort of a beam, or you know, or maybe ultrasound. Maybe ultrasound is affecting them. Maybe they're receiving waves that other people that were meant for somebody else. You know, maybe as these ultrasound waves are sent out, they send it out one way. Maybe it radiates out, and people who are really sensitive to it could hear it. You know?
that's what I think. Because they, you know, you can tell the difference between somebody having a behavior just because, and somebody
Yeah.
actually being triggered. You know?
Yeah.
I've worked with these people going on 3 years now, and I've observed it. Like, and you know, I can tell when they hear something. Like, they'll look around, like, and they'll even look at me to see if I'm the one saying it, and they'll start laughing or whatnot. It's crazy. I wish I could tape it, but I can't. But
Well, Cosmo, here's the question.
Well,
During the,
yeah.
oh, I'm sorry, Candice, go ahead.
I was just going to say they may be sensitive and they probably are picking up on things. They might be hearing and seeing things, but that's also how I was saying to you how as me people, we can see what the other people see as well. That's why we see the flip-flops. But the difference is that we retain our memory. So when the autistic people are acting different or seeing different, maybe they are also seeing the delusions just like us me people do, those of us that see the flip-flops.
Yeah, it's possible.
But it's just the memory retention that's different. Like,
well,
I've told you before how sometimes I feel like I'm in the movie The Invasion when these flip-flops are happening.
Yeah, I know, right in front of you, right?
Yeah.
Like the bean and the beam.
Yes. I had an argument, like, I mean, I told you, I was almost like trolling it. I think it's when people were saying is bean, and I'm saying that's retarded. It reminds me of Mr. Bean. Let me go drink some beans now. And I'm totally mocking it, making fun of it. And now it's just the other way around. And I'm wondering if anybody remembers having that conversation with me where I'm making fun of it when it was the other way around. So.
Well, here you go. If anybody remembers having that conversation with Candice, please contact
please contact us.
You know, immediately. And yeah, what I was going to ask Cosmo is, being you're an ME person, do you ever hear any of these voices while you're there? Can you ever hear anything? Nothing.
I don't hear anything. I don't hear nothing.
Have you ever asked them what they're seeing or what they're hearing for them to communicate to you what it is?
I do, but when I ask, it's like they just can't stop laughing when it's a happy, if it's a happy message, they start laughing or whatever. It's like uncontrollable. They can't, and I'll ask them later, and then they won't remember. It's crazy. And the ones that get behavioral, like get violent, well, you can't ask them anything because they're ready to rip your head off. So
you can't really talk to them.
Right.
Wow. It's getting scarier and scarier with these things because, as we're looking for causation, we're coming across so many different things, I mean, between me and Candice, we've sat one night and just like hammered each other with the stuff. And there's just tons of it. And it's like, how do you know how to sit out and actually get to the meat of what's actually going on? See, we can't, until we actually know whether or not it's a mental control, situation, or whether or not these things are actually occurring, as far as CERN is concerned, which is, of course, my blankie, because I tend to believe it's CERN.
It's not off the table, it's on my side table.
Okay, it's on your side table.
Yeah, that's
but,
right. CERN could be doing the mind control for all we know.
Yeah, well, here's what made me believe it was CERN. They are now creating a new CERN, which is going to be 3 times larger than the old one, and they're going to have. I think they said the energy level was going to be 100 TeV, which is going to be like, I don't know, 3-4 times more than what they had. And my question is, because it's going to cost billions of dollars, okay, to build this thing. And it's not going to be ready till, maybe 2029 or in the 2030s. So my question is it possible that they couldn't breach the barrier between the worlds with what they have? So
they need more power.
They needed more power,
Yeah.
So they sent a representative to Bilderberg this year, and they got funding. They got funding for it immediately. It wasn't even a question. It was just funded. And so they're going to spend billions.
Here's a scary thought. If CERN is doing the mind control, because they could be involved, but it might not be what you think it is that they're doing. What if they need a bigger machine so that they can control the me people? Because what they have right now is not working.
Yeah, maybe. But, they could.
If they weren't able to control the me community now, it's much bigger than CERN. Because I'm spiritual, so
yeah.
Personally, I think that Mandela effect happened because we were supposed to wake up. That's what I think. That's
okay.
what I think. I think CERN is trying to stop that.
Yeah, that could be. It could very well be.
So,
Cosmo, everything's on the table, brother. Everything's on the table.
Yeah.
We haven't taken anything off the table.
And even if something is just purely scientific, it doesn't mean that it's not something that was in the Bible or something higher.
Yeah, exactly.
Because the Bible can talk about science stuff happening.
You're right. And I kind of thought that CERN was trying to open the dark world to let out Lucifer and his fallen angels. So that's my view.
Well, I thought their opening ceremony was very interesting, if you've seen that one.
Oh, yes, I saw it. Did you see the one for the tunnel?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Oh, okay. They had another one. It's called Symmetry. Look it up online if you haven't seen it.
I have to go see it. Yeah.
Yeah, it was for CERN specifically, and it had Satan in it, and it had this one guy.
I'm not sure which one I've seen, but I've seen one.
Well, one is for the tunnel where they were flying around, and they had people taking off their clothes, and it was for the tunnel. But Symmetry is specifically a opera that they created at CERN. And watch that one. They had people looking like zombies. It was wild.
Yeah, like zombie apocalypse or something.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm telling you,
that might be the one I saw.
But Cosmo, what do you think the end game is for ME? What do you think is going to happen?
Honestly, at this point, guys, I have no clue. It's like,
That's the worry, isn't it?
I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, it's just a lot going on, and honestly, I had to take a break from it a couple of weeks ago because I was just I couldn't figure it out. Like, I
Yeah.
don't know, it's just too much, too much. And then it's all these distractions, and it's like, well, what the hell? What are y'all doing? Like it's just a lot of distractions, and I don't know. I can't call it. I can't call it.
Well, let me ask you a question now. I wrote a few papers recently about spiritual phenomenon, and you saw them, Candice, right? You know, about
Yeah.
hauntings and poltergeist. Let me ask you a question.
Well,
Since you've been,
yeah.
huh?
Go on, go on.
Well, I was going to say, since you've been experiencing ME, have you ever encountered any of these things? Hauntings, shadow people, poltergeist, demonic activity, um, anything
Oh,
moving in your house?
I
No, nothing?
I told you how I saw like little things moving in the side of my vision. Some only one night though, and that was outside.
Well, yeah, but
But that could have been anything.
here's the thing, though. You know, ME people tend to be psychic, so it could be telekinesis. I mean, it's not too far fetched to think that maybe when you get so annoyed and freaked out about ME, that your subconscious mind causes things to happen. Um, that's not too far fetched, right, Candice?
I don't think so.
Are you
I mean,
saying
I
that
have
you make it happen in your subconscious?
Maybe people that are psychic could, because from what I've seen, I mean, I've spoken to a lot of ME people, and I had for a while a little thing going around where I was asking people questions, to see if I could find similarities. And one of the main similarities I found was that a lot of ME people are psychic in some way. They're either, they could read minds, they could do all kinds of interesting mediums, they could talk to spirits. But here's the thing, under stress, maybe a lot of ME people could subconsciously move things with their mind, telekinesis. I mean, it's not far-fetched. I mean, based on everything we're looking at now, this is not a far-fetched idea,
Yeah,
it really
yeah.
isn't.
Are you talking about the whole consciousness creating reality theory or
Yeah.
something else?
Yeah, like
the
that too.
manifestation stuff, manifesting things and creating your own reality.
Well, I already told you my problem with that. I think was that if that was true, there would be a mass battle of wills. Because you would want things to be one way, and I want things to be another way, and things would be way more chaotic than they are.
Well, yeah.
Well, that depends on the person because you have to honestly, really, really believe it. You can sit here and be like, "Oh, okay, I want a car." It doesn't happen like that. You have to believe it. Like honestly, like you believe that you wake up, like you breathe every day. You have to believe it like that. Like you have to know it. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I can
that's
see
why
that.
I don't think.
There's a lot of people that have faith, though. Like even their faith in God, they believe if they pray, these things will. But even with that, it's not as chaotic as it should be. If you could,
You're right.
me anyway, if you could manifest these things.
Well,
but I mean, I'm still open to it. I'm not ruling it out.
Cosmo, let me ask you a question. Okay, now your viewpoint is that we were meant to be awake, right?
Yes.
Okay, so if that's your viewpoint, then isn't your viewpoint also that you believe that we manifest our own reality?
I do believe that. Yes, I do.
Let me ask you a question. Based on that, do you manifest your own reality on a daily basis? And I'm asking, think before you answer, because I want to know an honest answer here. Do you think that you manifest your everyday reality?
I do. I do.
Okay. Okay. Then what do you see you wanting in life? Okay. In other words, here's the reason I'm asking, and the trouble that I have with this in my head, because if someone has the power to manifest their own reality, then it seems to me change almost immediately. You know, like
Yeah.
you wouldn't be working anymore. You'd have what you want. You know, whatever.
And has
Okay.
anyone been brought back from the dead because you willed it?
No, it doesn't.
That's a
It
good
doesn't.
question.
It doesn't. It doesn't work like that. All right. When you okay, you can't manifest anything for like, it can't be for like selfish reasons or greed or stuff like that. Like you can only get what you need. You can only get what you
Okay.
need. So like I give you a personal example. A couple of weeks ago I had lost a vehicle.
Yeah.
So, I try to be positive all the time. I'm gonna try to be a negative person. So, I said it every day. I'm gonna get a car. I'm gonna get a car. Whatever. And I got my car. I just got my new car like 2 weeks ago, no lie.
Huh.
Because I kept it in my mind and I manifested it. So I needed a
Okay.
car, I got a car. I wanted a raise.
Okay.
I stayed positive. I did what I had to do. And not too long after that, I got my raise. I created that. It was all me. It was nobody else, So
Okay.
that's why I believe
I
in that.
understand. I could see that. You know, and that doesn't really change what we're experiencing. You know what I mean?
No,
But no, it really doesn't change anything as far as what we're experiencing. It's just that I wanted to understand clearly what it means to manifest. In other words, is it just a deep-seated belief that you hold in your mind, or is it something that you will? In other words, is will a part of this, or is it just something that you believe in your head?
it's both, actually. Because you can't just believe it in your head and it falls in your lap. That's not how it goes.
Okay.
Like
So
you
what?
could be like,
Go on.
you could sit there and be like, okay, like again with the car thing, you could be like, oh damn, I need a new car. What am I gonna do? And then you sit on your ass all day. You're not gonna get it.
Yeah.
Reward
Yeah.
doesn't come without effort. So
Okay.
you know,
So that means
but
you're
if you're negative about it, like if you go around treating people like shit,
yeah.
you're still not gonna get it. It's not.
Right.
That's not how it works.
No, I understand what you mean. It's just that what I was trying to get at was the fact that is it an act of will first and then your mind, or is it a combination of those things? Is it a spiritual uh, happening? In other words, is this something that comes from your soul, or does it come from your will? Is it manifested through your will and your mind? These are the things that I was wondering about. When we were talking about this, because Doctor, what's his name, Lupo, was talking about manifesting things.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and he mentioned that that if everybody in a circle thought about the specific thing, they could will it into happening. Okay, and I was
There's
trying to
actually a
understand.
me group in Facebook which is called Testing the Me, where they try to do this, and
Okay,
they post up the forward squiggler, they post things up, and they see if they all focus on it, if they can get it to change into a flip flop.
okay, and does it?
They believe it does sometimes, and then sometimes it doesn't. So, and then how many people needed the forward squiggle to change in the first place, or for Jolly not to
Right,
have braces?
right. I mean, yeah.
Right?
How could you will that? I mean, it's not something that's important in your life. I mean, Cosmo, do you think it has to be something that's important to you?
I believe it has to be something that's important to you. Yes, like it can't just if you don't need it and it's not really important to what you're trying to achieve in life or a real,
Yeah,
then no, I
yeah.
don't believe you can do that. Now, I've read that if like a whole bunch of like a whole conscious circle, like she just said, a whole bunch of conscious people get together and try to manifest something, that it will happen. I've never seen it, but that's what I read.
Okay, so I've thought about this, and
Okay.
I'm going to go to the Testing the Me group, if they let me, and I'm going to buy a lotto ticket. I'm going to post it. I'm going to say, I want you all to focus on this, and I'm making me the winner. And if they don't, and I am willing it, I'm going to call their bluff.
That's funny. And if they do, you could buy us both dinner.
Yeah, sure.
That's funny. I had thought about this for a while, and I was trying to connect it to the ME phenomena, and I believe that this is something on the side. I don't necessarily believe that it's the reason for ME. I think the ME is something else. There has to be a specific causation, and the question I've been having is ME a thing in itself, or is it a side effect of something? For instance, like I said, going back to my favorite CERN, if we ship, let's say we ship universes, okay, then ME would be just like a side effect of the merging of two universes, and it wouldn't really be something that they're actually doing. In other words, they didn't set out to do this. It just sort of happened.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what I was trying to find out. If ME was if it was a thing in itself, if it was a cause in itself, or if it was just a side effect of something else. What do you think, Candice?
Well, we go back to the dimensional thing. If there were multiple dimensions and they're converging or they're mixing, I mean, like, there is the mix of me's flip-flopping.
Yeah.
But so would they exist simultaneously? Would you be in one or the other? And how does that explain them flip-flopping back and forth? But also flip-flopping at specific times for different groups of people.
Yeah, that's
right.
kind of tough.
Because it's happening at the same time. Like it's targeted.
What do you think, Cosmo?
By geography, by I don't know what. But I do notice that when someone says it flips, there's other people that experience that same flip at the same time, if they're aware.
Huh.
That's true, because I've seen some people tell me things flip, but then when I look at it, it's the same to me. Like it hasn't changed. So
yeah.
Or they say it flipped, but
like,
you missed it because you don't know exactly when it happened and when it flipped back.
Well, it's like the Jim Beam and Jim Beam. It flipped to Jim Beam, and then it flipped back. But here's the problem. It's not just that it flips back, but that it flips back and everything changes. In other words, you can't find one bottle with Jim Beam on it. You can't
remember the label that was upside down? It's like it's like they sweep everyone's minds to believe it's the opposite. And then the AI goes online, deleting all the evidence and putting, like I showed you, that label on upside down.
Yeah, upside down. Yeah. So,
which is what I thought that might be.
Yeah, but
it's like,
I mean,
for me,
label?
it's like a mind sweep plus AI both working together simultaneously is a possibility to me.
Yeah.
But also, I'll bring up this other point, which was, remember when I told you people that are talking about there was the Lord of the Rings, run you fools or fly you fools, just like the gold dress and the black and blue dress, they see it differently at the same time. So there was a post where somebody found Gandalf saying, in the subtitles it said run you fools, but a lot of people could hear it as fly you fools, but at the same time, same timestamps, people in different locations were hearing it differently. Someone even went and they put it on their TV and they said it still says fly, and the other person says it says run, and why are we hearing it differently both at the same time?
That's a good question.
So that could be geographic mind control targeted to different groups. Or how are both existing at the same time? And why is it the audio?
Huh. Maybe it's a wave of if you were going to change things, right? For instance, if a universe, if the universal energy came through the doorway and was actually merging with this place, wouldn't it take a certain time to get to a certain place? In other words, how long would it take it to circumvent the globe? You know what I mean?
But also in conjunction with that, I showed you how online, when it flipped back to Beam, people were still online in the videos looking at the Jim Beam bottle and saying clearly Bean. It's like they were looking at, it's like they had a delusion of seeing it as Bean at the time when they took the video, and they're saying Bean, and now it says Beam. So did the AI go out and edit it to say Beam afterwards? Or, you know, were they seeing it differently at the time to what it really was?
Maybe they saw it as Bean, and then the AI went back and changed it.
You would think that they would have seen it as Bean, right, to say Bean, but the question is, was it a visual delusion? Or was that video from another dimension and the AI fixed it just to show Beam now?
That's a good question. But
I don't know. I mean,
so it poses some questions.
Cosmo,
I just think they just missed some things.
Do you
see
the flip-flop? Yeah, have you seen a flip-flop?
The Tidy Cats. And yeah, that's about it. But I do see some inconsistencies because, like, for instance, you know, Sweet Dreams are made of these.
Yeah.
Now it's this. But I was watching an episode of Grimm last night, and that song was playing. But then when the guy went to sing it back, he said these and not this. You know?
Oh, and there's also the Simpsons. Like, the Simpsons cartoons unaffected by me in a lot of instances.
Yeah, for some reason. You know what I noticed today as I was just kind of flipping through stuff? I came across Sally Fields. She did this acceptance speech back in the 80s, and where she said, "You really like me? You really like me?" You know, and then it changed.
See, I remember it being "You really, really like me." Two release. Yeah. I don't know why.
You like me. You really like me, right?
Yeah, not just one really, but
now,
two.
But now it says you like me. So right now you like me. Now that's what
that's weird.
but all the other stuff that they show now, all the people that are copying it are saying it the way it originally happened.
Yeah, they used the two reallys, right?
Yes. Nobody said it the way they have it now. Nobody. So the question is, did the AI go back and change that, or was this some sort of a merging of universes? You know. And here's another thing. Maybe it's a combination of both things, or three things. Maybe it's some bit of mind control and some bit of something else, and then, maybe the universes are merging. Who knows? I mean, like I said, everything's on the table. We haven't proven anything yet.
Anything is possible at this point, because it's really exactly. With certain things that I see, that I used to watch a lot back in the day, and I see it now, I'm like, what the hell is this? Like, that's not what happened. Like, it's like, Mr. Rogers, it's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Now he says in this neighborhood, but when you look at it, his lips are saying in the neighborhood. It's weird.
Yeah, I know, they just changed it. Yeah,
I don't know. I give up.
Well, there was a TV show in Britain. It was like a I don't know, a sitcom, and people had watched this sitcom. It was about these four guys or whatever that were living together, and all of a sudden, this new person showed up in the show, and a new person looks like the girl from The Ring, and she she sits in the corner and she says nothing.
What?
That's what it is. She just sits in the corner and says nothing, and she wasn't originally there in the show when the show was on, but now apparently they go back and they ask the creator, and the creator says, "Oh yes, we thought that would be funny to just put her in there." but she was never there when the show was on.
Right.
It just sort of happened now. You know what I mean? It's like they edited her in the show. And she looks just like the girl from The Ring.
That's
Well,
weird.
there's always updated explanations for changes online. That could be AI.
Yeah. You know,
We
I
talked
mean,
about magnetism, but there's also frequency that we need to talk about as well, which is the high-pitched sounds that people claim to get in their
Yeah.
ears. And
Well, that's another-
I noticed that
yeah.
before the night before the Jim Beam changed to Beam, there was one. It doesn't happen very often to me,
yeah.
but it happened the night before. I saw that change,
Mm.
which I wasn't sure if that was a coincidence.
Maybe they changed it in your
And
head.
well, who knows?
Yes.
The thing is, there was someone I mean, I was thinking about the frequencies and we were talking about this, and then I saw that someone had also theorized that the frequencies, you wouldn't hear them all, they're not all audible, but
Yeah.
they believe that maybe there's frequencies being sent out to make us see these changes, and when you lose a frequency, that's when something flips back to the way it was.
Oh.
So that's just
That makes sense.
a thought. Mm-hmm.
That makes sense. Yeah.
To think about.
It could definitely be some sort of frequency or ultrasound, because they're saying that this ultrasonic, this low frequency waves, can go through walls. It can go through your skull, basically, and they don't have to use your ears to make you hear or see stuff.
So if they were
So
sending
maybe-
frequencies globally to make us see these flips, and then you lose a frequency, and that's when it flips back to its original state.
Or something blocked it, you know, like you know.
Yeah.
But how does that explain like everybody changing? Like people are different now. Like
I
That's
think that
true.
there's
Like,
like a
people are
visual
different.
hack and a mental one. That's the way I see it with the mind control, if it's mind control. The difference between me
If
people
it's
and
mind
normal people is we all see these changes, even me people, but the other people, their mind is changed. Their memory is altered, but we retain our memories, and that's the difference. And that's when I was saying, is it because of the mercury, if it's magnetic?
Well, it could also be
I'm
a
making you
blood.
go.
I know. Well, because now I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Now you're making me think
that's
of
the whole
things,
point
you know?
of this. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, I mean, you're making me think of things like, for instance, you mentioned the R negative.
Yeah, I said Rh negative and how
Rh
they put
negative. Well,
mercury
if
in the
R-
ROGAM shots.
Well, do you think that the Rh negative blood in itself might contain a certain amount of mercury, and maybe that's the difference between Rh negative people and other people?
I'm not sure. I do know, but I guess the link that I found there was that they might have more exposure to mercury if the women are getting those shots.
Yeah, well, I mean, if it's an alien DNA, an alien blood type, then maybe you know, it's possible that it contains something that normal blood doesn't. For instance,
is that the?
I was going to say, I'm sorry. I was just going to finish the thought that no other blood can be used on what? O negative, and
O negative can have O negative.
yeah, and it can't be used in RH negative. RH positive can't be used in RH negative blood. It can't be used. It'll actually kill the person. So maybe maybe this is some sort of an alien blood type that that was introduced who knows when, and maybe it contains something that we don't know about, some sort of an inhibitor that keeps people that have that blood type from seeing the things that everybody else sees,
or having the mental memory rewrite.
Yeah,
even if they see it. And that's what I said to you before, wasn't it? I said, how do we know that, like, if it was an alien tech that is not working on the Rh negative people or their descendants, then you wouldn't know if you're a descendant, because you might have positive blood and still be a descendant, because Rh negative people can have positive babies.
True.
For that DNA type.
Maybe.
To work on them entirely.
If
it was alien
just
tech.
that type? Is it just that type? Because, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I heard only a small percentage of people have that Rh negative blood type.
That's right. But But they can
I'm sorry, go
have
ahead, Candice.
babies that would carry their DNA that are not Rh negative.
Huh.
So you might get that characteristic from, you know, your ancestors if any of them were Rh negative. Could have been passed to you, but you might not be Rh negative yourself. So unless we're doing a DNA pull with DNA testing rather than what blood type are you, we're not going to get an accurate result.
Right.
True. Also, they would have to actually do a full analysis on Rh negative blood in order to find out what's in it. You know? Exactly if there's anything different than is in regular blood. And if it was, would they actually tell us? That's another
I mean, in one of the polls in one of the groups that I was watching, they did a poll and there was a very high percentage of Rh negative people in one of the groups. But some people were positive, and that was my point, that I made that statement that, well, you don't know if you're a descendant because you could be positive and be a descendant.
Yeah.
But it was interesting that it was a high percentage of people that were Rh negative.
What do you think, Cosmo?
But we don't know if they're alien, or was the theories Nephilim?
Nephilim.
Well, I think it's interesting that they just found out about this this blood type. You know, I never heard of Rh negative before last year.
Huh.
So you know, it's
I'm Rh
kinda
negative,
new, isn't
I'll
it?
say that, and I've been all my life, but I never heard of this alien theory until like a couple of years ago.
I don't even know what.
So
what
who
I
knows
am.
if that's a me in itself?
I don't even know what I am, but I can tell you this: based on what I've experienced and the people that I've spoken to, it appears to me that there are some basic characteristics in all ME people. Okay, and they have certain numbers associated with them mostly. I mean, this is not all, but some. They have certain characteristics. They have certain abilities, like psychic abilities. They have other things that are common. And I was trying to find commonality because the first thing that came to my mind was I wanted to understand why we see these things and no one else does.
right. I wanted to know that too.
And so I started asking questions, and I found that there was a lot of people that had these commonalities. You know, they were all, basically psychic in some way, and it wasn't always the same way. It was different ways. You know, it could be, you feel emotions.
Empaths.
Yeah, empaths. You see ghosts. You're a medium. You have some sort of telepathy. But a lot of empaths.
Yeah.
And a lot of
it's
people
possible
were
those
water
people are.
signs.
Yeah, I'm a Pisces.
Yeah. How about
Yeah,
you,
I'm a
Candice?
Me?
So yeah,
Taurus.
yeah. I was a water sign. I was a Pisces. So
Although I was worried that it
I found
changed
that
after
quite.
that new sun sign came in. Remember the
Yeah.
13th
So
one? I
then
don't
it
know if
became
that's...
Aquarius. Then I became an Aquarius, which is also a water sign.
I'm still a Pisces, so
Yeah. So I'm an Aquarius, but now I'm still a water sign. So, but then there was numbers associated. I heard that there were certain numbers like 3, 7, 10.
7. Oh shit. I'm sorry. Go ahead. That was interesting. Sorry.
3, 7, 10, 20. And let's see, what was the other one? There was like 5 numbers that I saw that were connected to everybody. Certain colors they liked, specific
Blue.
colors. Blue, yeah, blue was one of the colors.
Yep.
And I have a list. I don't know. I don't have it. I can't pull it up right this minute. But if you, Cosmo, if you're interested, you can find me in one of the groups. I'm in a bunch of Mandela groups, or just look me up on Facebook and friend me, and I'll accept your friend request, and I'll get you some of the information that I collected, because I originally collected a lot, and I mean there were a lot of similarities. I mean, I was amazed at how many things everybody had in common, and that's before I even thought about the Rh negative blood. I mean, I was just coming up with ideas out of my head, you know, just thinking, well, okay, how about this? Does everybody have this in common? And yes, everybody had that in common. I was like, okay, now what about this? And it was like I had a whole list, and everything that I came up with, everybody had in common. So it was
Wow.
scary. It was scary how much stuff we had in common.
It could also be that people who are open to those things also have more of an open mind, just in general.
It's possible.
Willing to look at things as opposed to not.
It's possible. It's possible. I'm not saying it isn't, but like I said,
yeah.
I was trying to find commonalities. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just something.
It's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very interesting. I would like to see that list.
Well, like I said, friend me, and I'll come up with it, and I'll show it to you. And trust me, you'll be amazed. You'll be amazed.
I'm sure I will. That's crazy.
So anyway, Candice.
Yes.
What else do we have to talk about here? I know we have more. We always have more.
Yeah. There's always stuff coming up all the time. There's I don't know if I showed you. There's about the smart dust and the smart powder. There was something I came across this morning that
smart dust
says they plan to by 2032 have 100 trillion sensors out there.
Really?
And they have a chart showing the different years, and we're at 2017.
Yeah.
It's around, let's see, I'm thinking 100 billion by this stage.
Okay. And what are these for?
That people are saying are out there, but that's a video that I was planning to post for you today to have a look at.
Oh, okay. But I mean, what are they saying these sensors are for?
That they communicate and they monitor everything. Tell you how many people are in a room and what's going on. But because we don't know, what the smart dust or nanobots or whatever are doing.
Oh yeah, I heard about that too.
The point, and they said that you wouldn't need to have it injected in you. It's so tiny, it could be in the water, in your food, anywhere.
And you could just inhale it or drink it or eat it.
Yeah. But I think the point is how many are out there. And they have this. They've actually posted this. It's out there, a chart of how many they plan to have, and the timeline. That's
wow,
100 billion.
Well, I heard with the nanobots, which is also that same kind of size. I heard that. I think it was you that told me even that the lady was talking about. She found the nanobots on her skin.
Yeah. And, there was she found a way to pull them out, and it was combining coconut oil and beeswax, making a bar, and then she'd take it across her skin, and it would actually cause them to come out onto this bar. So that's an experiment I haven't done yet. That's an experiment I haven't done yet, and I was going to contact her and ask her for her recipe.
Well, there you go, Cosmo. Now she gave you an experiment as well.
Yeah, how's that going to get it out of your brain though? If you ate it.
She have a way to detox as well?
Yeah, because all those ingredients.
That's what I was going to contact her and ask her, because she claims to detox.
Yeah, I heard you said it was a detox, something she could do to get it out of her brain. So.
She told us about the skin, but I'm not sure about the brain.
Oh, okay. Well, now that we know the beeswax and the other, perhaps we can create a bar and do it. And do you have a microscope we can look at?
And just see if we find anything. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, but how would you see the smart powder, really?
I don't know.
But we can try.
Okay, well, if smart powder is out there, then there ought to be a way to magnetize it or in some way get some of it maybe on a magnet. I mean, what is it made of? Is it made of silicon? Is it a silicon base or is
nanobots she was saying are made out of graphene.
Graphene.
I don't know about the powder. I don't know about the smart powder though.
I was going to say, is there any way we could attract that? Maybe using some sort of an electric magnet or something to attract.
We need to do our research.
Yeah. This is it's mind blowing.
It's deep, man.
It's mind blowing, isn't it?
Yeah, it's never in a million years would I have thought that we would be going through something like this. Like, It only amazes me because when I was younger in junior high school, I used to write stories about stuff like this.
Yeah.
It used to be
And
science fiction.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know, for all this stuff to be happening right now, it's I'm not even. Some people are scared. I'm not even scared. I'm just fascinated. Like, wow, you know,
Well,
like
if they wanted us gone, or if they wanted us dead, we'd be dead by now. I
Yeah.
think, you know, it's been going on for a lot longer than people realize as well. I mean, some people say 2012, but I mean, I remember looking back, the first Me being for me at least 2003 or earlier.
Well, I told you
Because
about
2003, that's when I saw the Ford squiggle. Looking back, and I didn't find out about Me till 2016.
But didn't I tell you about 1973 there? It was the TV show. Was it that had this thing happen at this TV show? Dick Cavett show. And what happened was the show supposedly happened, but it never happened. And a guy supposedly died in the show, you know, died in the audience, but none of it ever happened. It didn't happen. There was no recording. There was nothing. It never happened. But it happened. The people were there. People were calling Dick Cavett and giving their well wishes to him about this guy dying. And Dick Cavett had no idea what they were talking about. And they said, well, we were in the audience. But
wow.
what happened? There was no show ever made. Nobody died in the audience. And it was a bunch of people. It wasn't just a few people. It was like 200 people that were there in the audience that saw it. But according to them, it never happened.
The whole thing about people dying and coming back to life, well, if it was mind control, then just people's memories would be edited to believe that they were dead when they're not really.
Yeah, right.
So
and
then
to believe they're dead. So what do you do when you're edited to be dead?
So then when that delusion's removed, they come back to life.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but what if you saw the whole ceremony, like the Graham guy, Billy Graham? Is that his name? Billy Graham?
Yeah, Billy Graham.
Yeah, like.
Yeah.
Nah.
And nobody has ever faked a video before, right?
Where here you go. Here you go. Nelson Mandela. He died in the 80s, and now he was alive up until the 2000s. And even presidents mentioned that he was dead. Bush.
Oh yeah.
Bush said Mandela's dead.
Right.
But
I remember the whole thing. Like, they was even talking about the interpreter, the sign language interpreter messing up. I remember that. Like, I saw that. So
yeah, you saw it with your own eyes. Yeah,
I saw it. I watched it on television. Like, I saw that. So
and then he said, "Nah, it never happened. Nah, he's been alive the whole time. What are you even talking about?" It's always been that way.
That's nuts.
And wasn't that?
Doesn't that make you angry?
A point
when they say it's always been that way?
Nah, I don't get angry. I just drop it because, you know, I'm not trying to waste my energy trying to argue with people. I know what I saw. So, you know, I know what I remember. Yeah. I'm not going to,
Well, that's the whole point, is if someone's memory is edited, then they're going to have a timeline change of the past events.
Yeah, but, I mean, it happened. It was, how could so many people see it happen? So many people, like millions of people. There are millions of people that have been affected by ME. It's not just a couple, you know? Mm-hmm. It's not just, you know, a couple hundred. We're talking about millions of people here, you know? And, you know, how could they make that just all go away? I mean, if all right, let's just say for